Welcome to another session of Simply Ask Why on the Curiosity Channel. Your host is Ed Middich, and today's session is taken from our social services. Let us begin.
Greetings, all. Today's session involves touching on one of our take-for-granted social services, the United States Postal Service. The USPS never officially had a motto, though the famous phrase, "neither snow, nor rain, nor heat, nor gloom of night," stays these couriers from the swift completion of their appointed rounds, is often associated with USPS. That phrase is from Herodotus about ancient Persian couriers and is engraved on a New York City post office. However, it is not the official USPS motto. I wonder what Herodotus would answer if today's question is, why doesn't the post office deliver mail every other day? I proposed this idea over 18 years ago to USPS and received an official reply. Public law prohibits the Postal Service from taking any action to reduce or to plan to reduce the number of days each week for regular mail delivery. This is a legal constraint and binding on the Postal Service. Okay, then which law has been updated for current times? Turns out to be H.R. 3076, Postal Service Reform Act of 2022, which states, delivery shall occur at least 6 days a week, except during weeks that include a federal holiday, in emergency situations such as natural disasters. There are exceptions allowed, often in rural, almost inaccessible zip codes. For example, I would think the population of the largest zip code, 99734, which is Rudho Bay, Alaska, is only 1,423 persons. Instead of barking dogs, the mail carriers must be on the lookout for hungry polar bears. I suggest they carry some steaks made from seal meat, which I understand the favored brand is called Seal in Freshness. Let's talk about the volume of paper. First-class mail. First-class mail volume peaked around 2001 at approximately 103.6 I 2023. First-class mail volume had fallen by roughly 50% from 92 billion pieces in 2008 to about 46 billion pieces. Remember that, half as much. I could not reliably find the number of pieces of junk mail, but you occupants, and you know who you are, can use your imagination. Examining the financial picture, the USPS is projected to add almost 7 billion in 2025 to the accumulated annual deficit of 55 billion from previous years. Not a solvent picture by any means. These financial challenges have continued despite efforts to modernize and improve efficiency. You know, I wonder if the Postal Service can go back to mailing babies. That's right, mailing human babies. All you had to do was make sure the kid didn't weigh more than 11 pounds, and you attached the right postage. This practice was available starting in 1913, but officially ended in 1920, as the USPS clarified that children could not be equated to harmless live packages that require no food or water. Too bad, though, because if first-time parents wanted a good night's sleep, they could have mailed Junior to themselves, and voila! Silence, peace and quiet just for one night. Ah! Let me describe a hypothetical operational model and how it would theoretically work. There would be two main schedules. Schedule A, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Schedule B, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. Each final destination mail carrier would have two schedules, one A schedule and one B schedule. However, this would mean there would be twice as many pieces on delivery runs. May need help in sorting when the mail reaches its final post office. This could involve reassignment from mail carrier to mail sorter, as well as rotating positions to provide experienced backup personnel. This could be implemented by attrition and eventually eliminate at least 40% of mail carriers, which would significantly reduce labor expenses. Pushback could be addressed by using the same process for storing mail on holidays for alternate day delivery. Of course, retention of P.O. Box access and retail counter services will be offered at each post office that offers them now. It is not all doom and gloom, however. A ray of sunshine for all mail delivery personnel, because now having two delivery routes, A and B, will double the chances for a generous Christmas tip from their route customers. Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas to our favorite postal carrier. Fortunately, in the grand scheme of things, there is gold in this here mail pile, and that is package delivery. There are profitable e-commerce package delivery services, USPS Ground Advantage, Priority Mail, that must retain 6 or 7-day delivery flexibility to remain competitive. This will continue operating as is. The Postal Service could offer a special service at a separate cost for those requiring everyday delivery, e.g., home businesses, or have them get a post office box. We come to the financial benefits of every other day mail service for first class, often referred to as snail mail, and junk mail. While we're on this topic of junk mail, let me tell you two stories about this topic. The Postal Service refers to it as marketing mail, and it pulls in about 15 billion annually, resulting in a sizable profit handling junk mail. I have a different perspective. I contacted the Postal Service years ago and asked if they would not deliver junk mail to my home. Once the representative stopped laughing, I got a polite no, since they are obligated to deliver flyers and other junk mail per contract. Shifting gears, trash and recyclable pickup where I live is done at any random time on a Wednesday. When I go out front to bring those wheeled containers back into the garage, I also pick up the daily mail and often stand there in the street, pitching the junk mail into the recyclables container right then and there. Only in America. Well, back to the dollar savings estimates. The various USPS savings plans in place today, 5-day, existing studies estimate savings $1.7 to $3.5 billion annually. If we went to the every other day mail delivery schedule, the projected 3-day savings, $5 to $8 billion annually, through reductions in fuel, vehicle maintenance, and career attrition/redeployment, resulting in a 50% reduction in mail carrier street time and associated operational costs. Delivering mail every other day would help find funds for modernization, automation, package hubs, postal banking, electric fleets, new processing centers, and digital address verification. Unbelievably, the following savings estimate is truly amazing. A nearly 40% reduction in fuel consumption, resulting in savings of approximately 67 million gallons annually, where, now get this, a penny increase in fuel costs increases USPS costs by $6 million. That bears repeating. A penny increase in fuel costs increases USPS costs by $6 million. And don't forget the best news of all. It reduces the number of customer delivery vehicles needed by half. As far as ecology goes, fewer delivery days equal lower carbon emissions and fuel consumption. And don't forget about reduced wear on both roads and vehicles. USPS could market itself as a green government service leader. Maybe we could be even greener, suggesting in rural zip codes that we bring back the Pony Express. I mean, the only pollution would be the release of methane from both horse and little bit from the rider due to bouncing around in saddle. Speaking of the Pony Express, did you know that it only existed for 18 months starting around April 1860? It used a relay system of horseback riders to carry mail across roughly 1,900 miles between St. Joseph, Missouri and Sacramento, California. This system dramatically reduced the time it took for messages to travel between the east and west coasts of the United States, delivering mail typically in about 10 days. Riders were young men, teenagers weighing less than 125 pounds. Advancements in communication led to the implementation of the first transcontinental telegraph in October of 1861, which caused the demise of the Pony Express. The horse said nay, but technology said nay, nay. Now back to our original premise. There are social and economic impacts to having every other day delivery. Here is a noteworthy list that will have to be considered. Medications, bills and notices, risk of further first-class mail volume loss, address disproportionate service downgrades in rural areas, small business shipping needs and impact on e-commerce, union and labor considerations, workforce implications and job losses, transition plans to preserve jobs such as gradual attrition, retraining for package sorting, logistics, local post office services, reassignment, early retirement incentives, the list goes on and on. But so does the future years of multi-billion losses if new savings ideas, like every other day delivery, are not brainstormed, analyzed, and if worthwhile, implemented. About 3 years ago, in 2022, Congress passed the Postal Service Reform Act, which effectively eliminated about $57 billion in unpaid retiree healthcare liabilities from the USPS's balance sheet. This act included provisions to end the pre-funding requirements imposed by the Postal Accountability and Enhancement Act of 2006, which had been a major factor in USPS's accumulated debt. The reform shifted postal retirees' healthcare enrollment to Medicare and allowed USPS to restructure operations to improve financial sustainability. A fresh start. But a positive cash flow didn't last long, since significant losses from operations continued day one. That's why I feel it is time to reconsider every other day first-class mail delivery service. Before I close this session, I want to tell you about a magnificent alternative created with the new technologies of the Industrial Revolution. The USPS once operated miles of pneumatic mail tubes under major cities like New York, Boston, and Philadelphia. These tubes shot mail capsules across cities at up to 30 mph. The largest network was over 120 miles long, but was shut down in 1953 due to cost and capacity limits. But in 1953, the network was shut down as the volume of mail rose to the point that they considered replacing the tubing with a much larger diameter tube, but the plan was too costly compared to what trucks could carry. Now, I'd like your thoughts and comments about this session's idea. Write in them in the comments section below this video. What is the maximum you would pay for a stamp that would make USPS profitable again and self-sufficient? Expert estimates are as high as $1. Should revive the Pony Express again, maybe just out west? Or insist that all financial transactions are paperless, so who needs the post office anyway? If the idea of every other day mail delivery is adopted, we could always end the unofficial motto with the swift completion of their appointed rounds, but every other day. I hope you found this session interesting, and I look forward to reading your comments. Until next time, stay well, stay blessed, and stay curious. Thank you for your support and participation. So long.
Thank you for attending another session of Simply Ask Why on the Curiosity Channel. Don't forget to leave a comment or suggest a why topic. Also, if you know anyone who would enjoy these, please send them this link: https://tinyurl.com/yc5u5rsz. This link is also included on the closing slide. Thank you.